Greetings. Hi, this is Peggy Miller, Highland Winds LLC. I'm a medical herbalist, and this is part 6 of the overview of a podcast series on medical herbalism, both Chinese and Ayurvedic predominantly, though I touch on Western approaches as well. In the intro, I talked about my qualifications. In this overview, I'm trying to touch on the variety of items that I will go into in more depth in the specific elements of the podcast. And you'll be able to find. So if you find something that I've talked about in the overview and you go, oh, I'd like to know more about that. That sounds like my problem or spouse problem or whatever. You're curious about that type of subject, then I'm going to try to delineate in the individual segments, which I will group by category and try to title so that you can hopefully find fairly easily what you want to learn more about. So that's my goal. So here in part 6, in the overview, and in Chinese and Ayurvedic herbalism, balance is the key. And I repeat this in each of the overview parts. Balance. Balance of yin and yang, balance of the tridosha. In Ayurvedic, it's tridosha. And what I've broken this down into yin and yang, excess, deficiency, how you can use diet to work on keeping balance, but then ultimately, sooner or later, you get imbalanced. Oh, and by the way, let me also continue to stress, maintenance with herbs is a very good idea. You don't have to wait till you have a serious health. I wish people would come in more often as clients when all they want to do is have a checkup and then do maintenance. What herbs at my age with my physical characteristics and my overall yang-yin approach to life or tridosha approach and balance, what herbs can help, just like you would learn more from a nutritionist or anyone else reading about diet and what other things you need, which vitamins, what herbs can help facilitate. But things happen. Work gets overstressed. There's grief. There's accidents. Anything can happen to create a major imbalance. And herb formulas can do a lot about that. And before getting into herb formulas, this is part 6. And what I wanted to talk about today was qi and blood. I've mainly focused on yin and yang, the yin and yang organs, diet that achieves full and empty, neutral, hot, cold. But qi, blood, and moisture are critical parts of the balance in your physical system. And understanding them a little better and recognizing that they are part of your balance and what you need to do to help keep them working optimally. If you're a musician and you have an instrument, you have to do different things. You don't only keep, on a piano or on a guitar, the strings taut to the degree necessary, but sometimes you have to work on the instrument itself to make sure it's toned and it's not too dry, that the wood's not getting too dry, things like that. Well, we do the same thing with our physical body. Starting with qi. Qi in Chinese herbalism and in Ayurvedic herbalism is a driving force for the world, for the universe, as well as for our own physical system. Qi, energy. Another word is energy. It is the force that helps the spleen transform food. It is considered to be the force that holds in items, that holds organs close together, that holds the cells together, that can warm the body, that motivates. It's a yang. Qi is yang. Qi is warmth. Qi helps bring the body together in a unifying method. It's energy. And one word I've liked in Chinese herbalism is they use the word potential. It's the potential for doing things. It's not only the doing of things, it's knowing that you've got enough energy to do things, to speak, to run, to go out, to project yourself in one way or another within this earth planet that we live on. So qi is critical, and there has to be enough of it. And in Chinese herbalism, they break it down into pre-heaven and post-heaven, plus air. Now, then, okay, and let me then shift for a moment to blood, because both of them can stagnate, or you can not have enough of. And when a Chinese or medical herbalist is working with a new client, you pay as much attention to their energy levels, what the blood is doing in their body. Is there enough blood? Is it nourished? Are there signs of stagnation? Because stagnation, which occurs often in the liver, but sometimes in the heart and in the regular blood channels themselves, clogged blood, stagnant qi. And stagnant qi is something we don't, in conventional Western medicine, pay a great deal of attention to. And in Chinese herbalism and in Ayurvedic herbalism, qi is energy that's critical to the health of a person. So blood and qi can stagnate. Now blood, what blood is formed by both food is, we eat and we then digest that food, and digesting the nutrients from the digested food enter the blood through the heart. And in addition to what in Chinese herbalism called grain food qi, and food blood, meaning food helps build blood. We get blood, more blood, and nourished blood from what we eat. We also get it from our bone marrow. And the bone marrow itself has the job of creating blood. So it's important to keep the bone marrow healthy and to eat correctly. And originally I talked a lot about diet. And so a lot of times blood will not be nourished enough. Not necessarily always because you aren't eating properly. Sometimes you're eating all right for what you consider is normal for your particular balance needs. But also blood is, and if I sound like I'm a little distracted, it's because for some reason, there we go. Sorry. But the clock, I'm watching because this is a 15-minute segment and the clock was covered up, and I wanted to make sure I didn't go over the 15 minutes. I don't know why I chose 15 minutes, but I did. It's a good amount of time to absorb different things. So blood can be deficient because athletes often can run into blood deficiency because they're eating what they think is proper amount, but they're exercising so hard that the blood is drained of nutrients more quickly than way more quickly than a couch potato. But even a person who's normally walks, does yoga, if you shift that up the next level to a heavy athlete, and if you go all the way up to an Olympian athlete, the drain on the blood is fast. And there are herbs and herb formulas, basic herb formulas. There's one for blood deficiency that helps keep the blood nourished more. And athletes really need to pay attention to this. One of them is called Donkey 4. And there are other additional things which can be added to that to enhance it more. Eat some jujubes, which is another herb. Lychee berries help with blood nourishment. There are a number of herbs and foods that help. Red meat, lamb and beef, make a very nourishing soup slash stew out of some red meat, rice, whole grains, edamame, soybeans, beans, a lot of the green vegetables. Toss it all in and make a great and nourishing meal, and eat that often. So blood and ki have to be nourished. Ki, on the other hand, we get ki from, we inherit energy. We genetically, some people even when they're little, they just are fatigued. Their genetic energy, the essence, the ki essence, is low. And there are herbs like codonopsis and ginseng and astragalus that help increase, just directly help increase ki. And then there's, in addition to that, paying attention to foods and paying attention to diet, because and paying attention to exercise. Exercise helps the ki move through the body. If you're not getting enough, if you're not moving at all, hardly, you're a true couch potato, your ki will just slow down. The movement of your energy through the energy channels of the system will slow down. And so blood. And if on top of that, let's say it's winter and it's cold can make ki and blood stagnate. Literally just kind of pool up. And if your energy and your blood stagnate, it occurs often in the liver, not always, then liver ki stagnation and liver blood stagnation occur, and that can cause emotional issues. Believe it or not, and I have found this over and over working with people, that it's true, if you have liver, blood, and ki stagnation, you will experience anger or depression or both. You'll be on edge. These things can also contribute to hypertension. I'll go into this in way greater depth in the individual segments. But the stagnation of ki and blood, cold does it, diet does it, pollutants. Pollutants can cause stagnation in the liver, literally stagnate the blood channels. When you have blood stagnation, then blood stagnation can actually block the energy channels in the body, which are just like vein channels. It's just how energy moves on channels through the body. And these things together can cause stagnation. And there are real serious physical problems from ki and blood stagnation. And the blood stagnation needs to be cleared. The ki stagnation needs to be cleared before, and it can create heat. And then the heat builds, and the heat burns up the moisture, and then you have dryness. And so it kind of keeps going. And you have to do a clearing of the stagnation, a clearing of any heat that results from it, and then help to rebuild the yin that got burned up, or the blood. You need to build it back up again, build the ki back up again. And this can all be done through the proper herb formulas. That's the end of part 6, and I'll be moving on next week to another fascinating overview section. You have a great day. This is Peggy Miller, Highland Winds. I'm a medical herbalist and owner of Highland Winds LLC, and my Gmail is highlandwinds@gmail.com. If you're interested in being a client, learning more about your own physical system, I have a questionnaire. Just email me, and I can send you a questionnaire. You can review it, And we can set it up even over the phone, in person or over the phone. I do it all the time. Have a good day.